In March last year, we held an exhibition of the Ernabella artists here at Early Work, and several of the paintings from that show now reside in the Janet Holmes collection in West Perth! Exclamation mark. Knowing that Janet is a huge supporter of Aboriginal art and had shown a keen interest in the Art Centre's work, we were obviously very delighted that Janet accepted our invitation to open this exhibition. So with no further ado, I'll hand over to a very special guest to open the exhibition, Janet Holmes Court.
Good evening, everyone, and I would say a special thank you to Marie Taylor for her welcome to country, but she's gone. She's gone to do it again somewhere else. But I'm absolutely delighted that Marie is here to welcome the ladies from Ernabella to Noongar country, her country, and it seems to me that is the origin of the welcome to country, dating back 65,000 years or however many, where if Indigenous people were moving from one place to another, they needed to be accepted rather than being, as we would do, rather than just bulldozing in. So thanks to, in absentia to Marie. But thank you very much, Anna, for the invitation to open this exhibition. I'm really delighted every time I see an exhibition like this. I want to go back to the artists themselves and say, could you please stop doing all this amazing stuff, because I want it all. And for us to even just be in a room with these 50, have you got 50 paintings at this exhibition?
Including the ceramics, that's
the ceramics. I just can't help thinking that there's nowhere else in the world, seriously nowhere else in the world, where people can gather with a collection of art that is so unique, so special, so different, so easily identified as being from one particular Aboriginal or First Nations settlement. And it's absolutely delightful to have with us Elizabeth and number 3's coming, Michelle and Janice. Janice, I'm pretty sure this is your work here, which is so unique. Elizabeth's work is behind me here, and the work, Michelle's work is the green and blue work. Also different, also completely different, and excellent and wonderful, and I believe the greatest contemporary work that's being done anywhere in the world. I'm quite convinced of it. There's just nowhere else where you could be in a room with work of this quality. So I should really go back to the notes that I've been given to talk to. One of them is just to talk about Ernabella, and Ernabella is actually 2,500 kilometres from where we are. Wow. And these ladies, goodness, thank you so much for being here. To get here, they had a 5-hour drive from Ernabella to Uluru, and then a flight from Uluru to Darwin, and then from Darwin to Perth. So the 2,500 kilometres away is nothing compared with the journey that you've all made. So thank you so much for being here. And on Sunday, thank you. On Sunday, they will have to do this in reverse. Darwin, Uluru, and then a drive to Ernabella. Ernabella is actually the oldest continuing art centre for contemporary art practice. It was established by the Presbyterian Mission there in 1948, and it was originally established as a craft room for women, and the women used locally produced wool. They wove floor rugs, and in time developed their own swirling patterns known as wolka, meaning design. And in the early textiles, the wolka patterns were used. They then, on woolen carpets, they then moved to silk screen techniques. And in the 70s, after a trip to Indonesia, started working with these swirling patterns on batiks, rather like the women in Utopia, although they didn't do the same sort of swirling patterns. And if you have a look around the room, those swirling patterns are echoed in so many of the works, and particularly on these remarkable ceramics. Some of you may have seen the ceramics at the opening of the museum, Uluwatu. There was the wonderful Seven Sisters story, which actually, and some of these pots were in them, not these specific ones, but by the same artist. They're actually on a trip around the world for a decade. It's a phenomenal thing for the art of these wonderful in First Nations, Indigenous, Aboriginal, whichever you choose to use. And I'll ask these ladies what they like best. But to have this work going everywhere in the world that you can think of for 10 years, it's just so exciting to think that people will be seeing it and learning about our culture and the culture of our First Nations people. So I'm really fascinated by the works that are here. These salt lake works are, I think they're dazzling, they're extraordinary. I always remember once, years and years ago, going in an aeroplane, a small aeroplane from Melbourne to the Western Districts, and with two American people. And when we got out, the wife said to the pilot, "Thank you so much, I now understand Fred Williams. I've never understood what the heck he was doing with all those dots and splodges, but now I understand from flying over it." And I just imagine that these salt lakes must look like that. And how Janice has imagined that must be what it looks like from 150 kilometres in the air, I think is fascinating. And then in the work next to it, you'll notice one of the oval patterns is on top of another one. And that's a feature that we've seen in quite a lot of Michelle's work, where instead of each of the what would have been called roundels, but now we're calling them ovals, instead of them being separate entities, they are overlaid with more, as if we're looking through a magnifying glass. And of course this brilliant coloured one, I better get out of the way so you can see it. This work of Elizabeth's telling an absolutely fascinating story. These works have to be seen to be believed. They make me a bit emotional. And then, as I've said, these ceramics, such an incredibly important part of this exhibition. In Ernabella, there is a fully operational ceramics studio, Pikacha pottery, which enables Alanu expression through the medium of clay. So we have the expression through the medium of paint on canvas, but also through clay. And Anna has got a video which we'll show at some stage, which will illustrate how the women work in that wonderful ceramics studio. So these women are not only wonderful artists with canvas, but marvellous at the ceramic work. I think those of us, most of the people here would know and have done a little bit of ceramics at school or something and know how damned hard it is to make something like this. But the quality of the work is absolutely superb. So Carleen Thompson's work, which is here, Carleen, her story is always about emus, and she says that emus have lots of babies, and she had lots of babies when she was much younger, and so every day she produces more and more emu chicks for our, not only our edification but our delight. So I guess it's really important here to congratulate Anna on bringing these works to us, and I think I can honestly say I rarely see a dud work in your place. I sometimes see works I don't necessarily want, but I think that you have made a really amazing contribution to our knowledge of Indigenous art and the work of these wonderful women in what is a genuine interest. I don't come to your gallery thinking, oh, here she goes making more money out of Aboriginal people. There's a genuine love of the people, a love of their art, an admiration for them, an admiration for their art. And I really congratulate you, and I do thank you for giving me the honour of opening this exhibition. So,